This list is going to be made up of a lot of just badasses. These are going to be like cold-blooded killing machines. These are like hardened people that just rip it up and have not been in classified yet, and I want them. So here we go. Number 10, Crimson Asp. She's a mercenary and a saboteur. She likes to choose her mercenary jobs based on the revenge factor. So she's motivated by revenge. The pay is kind of secondary. You know, she wants to go out and get people back. She's an explosives expert, and she carries a blowtorch. And that's her two favorite things: blowing things up and burning people up. So she's nasty. I believe she blew out her eye in an explosive accident when she was younger, just getting into the craft. So Crimson Asp is someone to take seriously. Number 9, Tombstone. Tombstone is a high-ranking officer in the Cobra organization. In certain circles, he's considered the equivalent to Duke on the battlefield. He's known for having a very strategic mind, always having the right answer, ready to go. He knows what he's doing. Tombstone is a very serious man. He knows his business. You don't want to mess with Tombstone. All right, number 8, Sergeant Major Duncan. This is Destro's right-hand man in the Iron Grenadiers. His personal goal in the Iron Grenadiers is to keep the troops loyal, keep them in line. He's making sure that no one defects back to Cobra. There's no traitorous activities on base there. If he detects any traitorous activity, the punishment is severe and swift. And Sergeant Major Duncan doesn't mess around. By the way, this list is going to get a little more intense as it goes along. All right, so number 7, Overkill. Overkill was a bat, the battle android trooper. The classic bat that we know is basically like a mindless robot. You throw them on the field and they just go and they just shoot to kill anyone. There's no discretion. But Overkill was a prototype when they were looking to design bats that could think and had strategy and made decisions and weren't just ridiculous, just shoot them up everywhere they look. So they made Overkill, and it was a success, but he was really expensive. And then also Cobra Commander installed some sort of voice modulator, voice human synthesizing voice program in him that made him yell out demoralizing slogans on the battlefield at a deafening volume. And then there was a second version. The second version of Overkill was a cyborg, so he was half human and half robot. And something about his human brain and his circuitry and robot brain kind of merging, he created like an emotional attachment to the bats. Like he cared about them and he watched over them and they were important to him. He secretly named some of them, like in his head, and he favored some more than others, and he kind of gave certain ones special treatment. They're all robots, they're all the same, but he to him they were different. That's very unique. Number 6, Repulsor. I'm a big fan of Repulsor. I'd really like to see him come into the line. He's definitely not a well-known character, but I like him. He's Cesspool's right-hand man. He's the head of security. He oversaw all the lab facilities. And he was known to just be a very cold and cruel person. This was during the time of the zombie initiative when Cobra was making toxo zombies and turning their soldiers into zombies, basically. And Repulsor was the one doing it. So he's turning people into zombies. He's just taking away life after life in his own soldiers. And he couldn't care less. It didn't mean anything to him. The point of it's to get this done, and he's dead set on it or whatever. He doesn't give a shit about his soldiers' human life. He doesn't care about life at all. All right, number 5, Cobra Mortal. He is a South American member of Cobra. His identity is unknown, but he did make quite a name for himself with his work in South America. He was an assassin for hire. So yeah, he's a professional assassin, and his dream target is Sergeant Slaughter. And it should be said that Super 7 makes this figure if you want it. I want it in classified, though. Number 4, Overlord. Overlord has an interesting backstory. He was a member of the Crimson Guard, or at least believed to be, not necessarily proven to be, but he was believed to be a high-ranking member of the Crimson Guard at one point. He ran Cobra for a period in the comics as well, in the Devil's Due comic line. And he also killed Chuckles in that same comic. He was also a boss in the 1991 G.I. Joe video game. So, we're talking about a boss character. Oh, and he also went by a couple different aliases: Cobra Khan, Barako Dracoman, and Carbo Medmomac. The last two are anagrams for Cobra Commander. Number 3, Dawn Moreno. Dawn Moreno is kind of considered to be another version of Snake Eyes in the world of the comics. She grew up in Springfield, the Cobra town, and she went to the Cobra High School, and she was a gifted athlete. Cobra Commander took her and had Dr. Mindbender hook her up to the Brave Wave scanner with the intention of just brainwashing her, indoctrinating her to the Cobra ways of life. He wanted to bring her in and make her, a Cobra henchwoman. Also at that time, Baroness had taken her under her wing, and she also had some sort of a friendship with Zorana. So when Dr. Mindbender was going to hook her up to this Brave Wave scanner, the other two women didn't like that, so they tried to stop it. There was some sort of a struggle, and accidentally Dr. Mindbender implanted all of Snake Eyes' memories into her head. So she knows what Snake Eyes knows. And because she became like Snake Eyes, it turned her into a Joe, basically. Very interesting character. And she is a ninja who can kick some ass. She's a badass for sure. My only complaint about Dawn Moreno is her name. I don't know. I mean, why don't we call her Barbara Davis? That's not interesting. She needs a code name. A first and last name on an awesome ninja is not cool. So yeah, we need a code name for Dawn Moreno. Number 2, Cobra Corrosion. He grew up very gifted child who was real fascinated with the destructive properties of chemicals. He became an executive at a chemical company, and the company did all sorts of damage to the environment. It killed off animals, and Cobra Corrosion doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. And he also customized his own grenade launcher for in battle, and he created some sort of a compound that's, when it hits metal, it explodes and it dissolves the metal. All right, last one. I know a lot of people are going to be happy to hear this one. I got this in the comments a lot, and I should have got it on my first list. I don't know how I missed it, but number 1 is Wraith. Wraith is another mercenary who isn't really concerned with the financial end of the deal. He does it for the blood and to inflict the pain. He's a mean dude who likes to hurt people. The Joes and Cobra have both tried to recruit him. He wears a stolen suit from the Chinese government, but is actually believed to be developed by the Red Shadows. And the suit basically makes him invisible. When he goes fast, when he's running, it leaves behind an outline of him, and you can kind of tell who he is that way. That's the only weakness there. But Wraith is one bad man. All right, this has been the top 10 badasses that we need in G.I. Joe Classified. Thanks for watching. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe.